Hi, I'm Jenny Pitman. I'm a silver specialist here at Doyle, and I'm the regional advisor for Connecticut.
And I'm Todd, Senior Vice President and Silver Specialist at Doyle, and we're excited to discuss the Paul Revere silver from the Monroe and Elizabeth Dreher collection.
Well, Todd, we've been having a lot of fun working with and researching this trove of Paul Revere silver, and also Revere's most well-known and sought-after print, The Bloody Massacre, which Cynthia Klein will be speaking about. The Revere collection was formed by Monroe and Elizabeth Dreher in the 40s and 50s, and it really hasn't been published much since then. So this gives us a wonderful chance to add these works to the current scholarship on Revere.
I think Paul Revere is best known as the American Revolutionary War hero whose midnight ride in 1775 warned patriots that the British were coming, but he was actually also a man of exceptional talents. He was a great entrepreneur embracing technology and expanded his business into silver sheet production and copper and iron casting after the Revolution. Many of these works related to his professional and political associations, such as the St. Andrew's Masonic Lodge and, of course, the patriotic organization, the Sons of Liberty.
Monroe Dreher was really drawn to Revere's work, and he was a passionate Americana collector. He collected furniture and silver, ceramics, pewter, and textiles, and he was also an ad man, a madman, in fact. His advertising agency was located at 30 Rock here in New York City, and he worked on a number of iconic brands. For example, his agency coined the slogan, "Ding Dong, Avon Calling." Like many Americana collectors of the day, he lived with his collection, and it was configured pretty closely to period rooms. He outfitted his office and his home in Darien with his collection. Bonnet Hill Farms in Darien was actually the former Stephen Ross house, a 1700 house that had been moved from Stanford and reassembled in Darien. And the house and the collection were profiled in both Antiques Magazine and the Ladies' Home Journal in 54 and 55. The most exciting Revere piece in the collection is the iconic Liverpool form picture, which dates to around 1805. Now, Revere had cleverly copied a ceramic model, and in turn, the form was then copied by generations of American silver manufacturers. I grabbed a silver-plated example here to show you the contrast between the original piece and the reproduction. Now, I've been working with silver for many, many years and handled many Revere pieces, but I've never handled a Revere Liverpool form jug. This picture makes the 15th known example of the form. And what surprised me when I first saw the piece was the diminutive nature of the picture. It's just 6 inches high. The work is also significant because it confirms Revere's role as a supplier to other Boston silversmiths of that time period. The picture is also marked by Ebenezer Moulton, who was a Rhode Island and Boston silversmith. The Revere mark on the base has been largely scratched out, presumably when Moulton applied his own mark. And there's another Revere mark inside the base of the picture, which is more legible. Revere is known to have supplied other silversmiths, such as Joseph Loring, who applied his own marks to Revere's works. But with this picture, we have both marks, concrete evidence of these interconnected relationships between silversmiths.
The silver cream jug was made by Paul Revere after he returned to silversmithing following the 5-year hiatus for the Revolution. Revere has cleverly updated his double-bellied earlier form with a new neoclassical beading, keeping in the latest post-revolutionary fashions. Revere has also added a beautifully engraved foliate cartouche here, SDS, the initials of Captain Stephen Smith and his wife, Deborah Ellis. Take a good look at this engraving. It's very distinctive with the wreath of crossed fronds at the top rather than the bottom of the cartouche. Pieces like this are very exciting because it's so well documented in Revere's daybooks. The reason we know so much about Revere's work is because many, though not all, are recorded in his daybooks, which date from 1761 to 1797. Captain Stephen Smith placed the order on October 22, 1783, citing a silver cream pot and a pair of wine quart cans, 6 large spoons, and a pair of sugar tongs. It's interesting because while the cream jug is current and up-to-date in fashion with neoclassical decoration, the porringer takes a very traditional form, one that changed little over Revere's long career.
The collection is rounded out by these 2 spoons from 1784, which are decorated in the latest neoclassical fashion and decorated with a heraldic crest that reflects the fine engraving skills of Revere. The spoons were ordered by a member of Boston's Spooner family, whose name appears in the Revere daybooks. An entry for the 25th of October from 1784 cites Mr. George Spooner, credit by silver and gold to make spoons. The engraved crest of a boar's head pierced by an arrow is that of Spooner. We know this because Bolton's American Armory cites 2 bookplates with this crest, and both of them happen to belong to George Spooner's brothers, one belonging to John Spooner and another, engraved by Nathaniel Hurd, also a silversmith, belonging to Joshua Spooner. The Spoons descended in the Spooner family until the last Spooner family member, Miss Henderson, gave the spoons to her friend Ruth Day as a wedding gift. The later initials D over RM are those of Boston-born Ruth Van Buren Hugo, who married Morgan Day in 1915.
So, Jen, the question is, what's your favorite piece?
The picture. What about you?
I think I have to say the spoon. Cereal would just taste better from a 200-year-old Paul Revere spoon.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Klein, Director of Prints and Multiples at Doyle. I'm here today to discuss this fine impression of Paul Revere's important engraving of the Boston Massacre from the Monroe and Elizabeth Dreher collection, which we are honored to be including in our American Paintings and Prints auction on November 2nd.
Paul Revere's 1770 engraving, The Bloody Massacre, is one of the most desired of American prints. Monroe Dreher purchased this iconic work, along with other important prints, from Harry Shaw Newman of the Venerable Old Print Shop in 1943, and it has since remained in the family for nearly 80 years. As Todd and Jenny discussed earlier, Paul Revere is most famous for his 1775 Midnight Ride. Revere at that time was already well established and highly regarded as a silversmith and engraver. He was immortalized in 1768, 2 years before producing The Bloody Massacre, by one of the most renowned painters of the colonial era, John Singleton Copley. Copley depicts Revere in shirt sleeves, with his engraving tools on the table in front of him, as if about to decorate the beautiful silver teapot he holds. The Bloody Massacre illustrates the violent events that took place on the evening of March 5, 1770, when the British shot and killed 5 Bostonians. They are identified as the unhappy sufferers at the bottom of the engraving, beneath lines of poetry written by Revere, and include Crispus Attucks, an African-American merchant sailor thought to be the first person killed. Tensions at the time were running high between England and the colonies, and news of the incident traveled fast. Revere, a member of the patriot group Sons of Liberty, for whom he produced pro-revolutionary engravings, immediately realized the significance of the confrontation and seized on its potential to further the patriot cause through wide circulation of the event. Revere based his design on a sketch by Henry Pelham, which Revere copied and modified, and was quick to have 200 copies printed and available for sale 3 weeks after the event. Arguably the most famous image printed during the American Revolution, and if not of American history, Revere's print has been much reproduced and copied, such as by the Boston engraver William Stratton in 1832, of which an impression from the American Antiquarian Society is discussed in a fascinating recent essay by Lauren Hughes. All of us here at Doyle are beyond thrilled and honored to have been entrusted with these wonderful and important works collected by Monroe Dreher. We hope to have the opportunity to show them to you in person here at our gallery during our exhibition, which opens October 30th, or please visit us at doyle.com.